Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Rob Coleman coming at you again. This time without another new trailer review. I'm actually trying something different today because I'm experimenting, I'm having fun, and I wanted to do something a little different today. And I may have talked about this on a previous video, but I want to give you guys some suggestions for movies that I think would be amazing to remake. Okay, there have been some remakes in recent years that have been phenomenal. They took the original source material, remade it, and made like a really good movie. I think about movies like the the Crazies or the Blob or um, the Hills Have Eyes movies. I thought those were really good. I mean, there's been a ton that they've taken like an old like 60s or 70 movies. I mean, The Thing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like movies like that and remade it and updated and made it classic. The Fly. Like I said, I think I've talked about some of these movies before. And I think we should continue that trend. I think there were a lot of amazing movies that, for whatever reason, flew under the radar and maybe didn't get their just due at the time. Maybe the market was crowded for that kind of movie, or something else went on. God help any movie that was really good and came out around the same time Star Wars did, right? Because everybody immediately forgot about that movie because everybody was going to see Star Wars. So I wanted to review just a few movies that I feel like would be amazing to remake. Okay, so I don't know. Better. All right. Anyway, hopefully I'm not choppy at the time you guys see this, but I think maybe I got too many apps open or something. But anyway, the first movie on my list is a really good movie, starring Anthony Hopkins and Margaret and Burgess Meredith, called Magic. Okay, Magic, at the time it came out, was, I think the trailer was considered so scary, the trailer, that they had to pull a trailer off of TV. And I remember that because as a kid, the trailer was literally just a puppet sitting still and the camera zooming in on him, as slowly zooming in on him as he said a little poem. Um, and the trailer literally was so scary that kids were having nightmares. It took me years to actually watch the movie because, like I said, it came out when I was a kid. But when I actually finally watched it, it was a really good movie. It's more of a psychological drama. It's not a bunch of like slasher, like the puppet is killing people like all through the movie, but it's more of a psychological drama as you see Anthony Hopkins, who plays a character named Porky, lose his identity inside of this puppet named Fats. Okay. A quick synopsis of the movie, as far as like what the movie is about. It says a ventriloquist is at the mercy of his vicious dummy while he tries to renew a romance with his high school sweetheart. Now, the movie is more complicated than that. That's just a quick rundown that they have on IMDb, but it's a little bit more in depth than that. I think he was like a failed magician and was getting his career back on track because he ended up being an amazing ventriloquist and was getting like TV show offers and all of this stuff. And it kind of drove him a little batty. So I imagine this movie could be remade as, let's say, a failed actor starts doing a podcast. The podcast is failing, so he invents a puppet character to be on a podcast with him, right? And maybe that's the new scenario of how he is starting to lose his identity and go into madness. It doesn't have to be a guy on stage. Maybe it could be like some sort of social influencer. Maybe he creates an AI character that he interacts with, and because of the way AI is now, that he's starting to lose himself in the personality of the AI character. I mean, I feel like this movie could be remade, reimagined with modern technology, and just be an absolutely phenomenal movie. The second movie on my list is a movie I saw and I've been wanting to see for a long time because it had this strange box, right? Like, you remember you could go to the video store, those of you who remember video stores, and you would walk past the movie sometimes, and sometimes the box would get you to rent a movie even if you never heard of it. And I used to walk past this movie all the time because the box was just so strange. A little movie called Blue Sunshine. Okay, Blue Sunshine. When I finally saw this movie, I thought it was an amazingly unique take on zombie slash uh, zombie and slashers. They kind of like intertwined those genres at the time, and I thought like people completely missed this movie because I thought it was amazingly unique. Essentially, what happens in this movie, and I'll pull up the synopsis for you. There was a new drug that a college student invented, messing around with LSD, and it got people like really high back in the day. People enjoyed it or whatever. But 10 years later, those people who took the drug started killing people. They would go bald, and as once they were completely bald, they just turned into like maniacs. And it was a good take on. I thought it was just really original as far as like the storyline and everything. I imagine. Well, this movie was directed by Jeff Lieberman. It starred Zalman King, Deborah Winters, Mark Goddard. Um, I don't know if these are like major, like big stars. I don't necessarily recognize any of them from like any big projects, but um, like I said, I just thought the movie was a really original take on. Um, it kind of mixed some different things together that I really enjoyed. And when I finally saw the movie, I was like, oh, this would be amazing if they remade it. I think I saw the movie around the same time that Breaking Bad was going off TV. And I don't know if you remember, well, yeah, of course you do. Who didn't like Breaking Bad? But Breaking Bad, they invented that blue form of meth or whatever. And it was, unique because nobody else had it. It was like blue. And I just imagine, what if they reimagine a movie as like a meth dealer that invents this new form of meth, similar to Breaking Bad, but it still has the same effect where it's driving people, crazy. And the fact that they would go bald, uh, that was actually an effect that was amazingly creepy. Like if you see it, I mean, imagine being in a place and a dude is losing his mind or whatever, and he does something, and like all of a sudden his hair is sideways, and you're like, is that a wig? And he slides it off or whatever, and you realize that he's one of the bald maniacs. I mean, the reveal in a couple of parts in that movie when you saw that a person that wasn't their real hair and they was actually bald, it was like a really good intense effect that it kind of had, because like, oh, he wanted to, it was just like a really amazing reveal that they used really effectively in the movie. And just the summary of this movie on IMDb says, a bizarre series of murders begin in Los Angeles where people start going bald and then become homicidal maniacs. But could the blame rest on a particularly dangerous form of LSD called blue sunshine the murderers took 10 years before? I mean, think about that, man. You took some drugs 10 years ago, completely forgot about it, and now the clock is ticking on whether or not you're about to become a murderous maniac. I mean, there's so many different things you could do with like somebody that's become a family man now and he's starting to go bald, or if somebody now is like a school teacher or runs a business and he starts going bald, and it's like, okay, where I mean, there's just so many amazing takes I think that you could do with a remake of a movie like this. So, let's start a little protest and see if we can get them to remake Blue Sunshine. And then the last movie on my list came out, and this is one of the ones that I feel like kind of got lost in the sauce with a lot of other movies. A movie called The Prowler. Okay, now The Prowler came out in 1981. It came out around the same time that a lot of other slasher movies were coming out. Stuff like the Friday the 13th and stuff like that. And it had the typical, villain, mystery villain, like who's killing the people. Dressed in, I think he was dressed in like old school army gear, and he had like this old school army mask on. You couldn't really tell who he was. So it was like a mystery mixed with a slasher movie, mixed with kind of a period piece a little bit, because I think, he killed some people in the past and then it like comes to the present. And I just think this would be an amazing movie to remake as well. This movie was directed by Joseph Zito. It starred Vicky Dawson, Christopher Goutman. Once again, I don't know if these are stars that you would necessarily recognize, but um, the movie was really good. I remember the commercial for this movie, the narrator really set it up well. He'll get you, like the Prowler will get you. You know what I mean? It was like really set up well, and with the trailer. The practical effects in this movie were really good. I rewatched it recently and was like, wow, like in the Friday the 13th gets a lot of credit for their practical effects. You were seeing still shots of all of the stuff and Fangoria magazine and all of that stuff around the time. But Prowler, I think, came out maybe a little bit before Friday the 13th, and to me had just as good practical special effects. The guy had a pickaxe, I believe, and I mean, it goes down in this movie. All right, it goes down in this movie. So Prowler was once again an amazing slasher movie, and once again just kind of flew under the radar. I don't think it really caught on just because it came out around the same time as a ton of other slasher movies was coming out. You had the Italian Gallo movies, and a ton of stuff was coming out over here, and it was just, the market was just flooded. So I would like to actually go back and look at when this movie came out to see if it came out with something else that kind of pushed it to the back of people's minds. So maybe I'll do that research. But all of these movies are in the high 70s or 80s in their ratings, in their critic ratings on IMDb. Magic sits at an 87% critic rating. Blue Sunshine is at an 83% critic rating, which is amazing. And Prowler is at a 75%. And that's probably because, it's kind of typical slasher movie, but still good. Fan ratings for all of these movies, or at least for Blue Sunshine and Prowler, are under 50% at like a 44 and a 49% for the movies respectively. Magic sits at a 65%, crowd rating, and that's because Anthony Hopkins is fucking amazing in the movie. I mean, you see in the eyes, this guy is able to act with his eyes just so well. So if you get a chance, check these movies out. Check the originals out and see if you agree with me that these movies should be remade. I absolutely think a remake of these movies would be absolutely amazing. Um, I think there's different ways to tell these stories. Oh, in the Prowler, the story there was this guy was basically a crazed military veteran that came back and I think was trying to take revenge out on like his girlfriend or people that reminded him of his girlfriend or something like that. So if you get a chance, check that one out as well. And I think all of these movies would be amazing to do. And you guys let me know what you think. This is my first one I'm doing like this, so I know there's going to be a ton of mistakes or whatever, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? So I'll try to punch it up. We'll try to do this maybe once a week because I've seen a ton of movies that I feel like would make good remakes, or there should be good remakes out there for. And you guys let me know what you think. Maybe some of these movies are being remade, and I don't know. If you know that a movie is being remade that I put on this list or one of my lists, let me know, and I'll go and do the research and kind of see what they're doing with it. But other than that, this has been, comedian Rob Coleman with another trailer review, but that not trailer review, and just going over some movies that once again I think deserve a remake. Maybe we'll call this Remake Mondays, and I'll do 2 or 3 movies on Mondays to let you guys know what I think is out there that would be good. So once again, Rob Coleman, man, thank you guys for watching, those of you who are. And if you are not, tell a friend. Let's see if we can get my views up a little bit. But I don't care. This is just fun. So thank you guys again for watching. Talk to you guys.